Good afternoon, folks, and welcome into this edition of College Basketball on the Turbo Sports Network. I'm Ricky Sobrano, here with you this early afternoon. In fact, it's still late morning, not quite 12 just yet, for Game 1 of the NJCAA National Junior College Athletic Association Championships inside the Paul Jerry Fieldhouse in Loch Sheldrake, New York, up in the Catskills. Should have a great tilt here for you in Game 1. This is an 8-team tournament, the top 8 in the nation, as they've qualified by winning their district. Game 1 will be between Hostos and Herkimer, two New York teams. There are two New York districts, so a battle of New York to begin this one. Hostos will be a significant underdog. They come in at 18-14. Herkimer 29-3. Now we'll pause as we get set for the national anthem.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, I'd ask that you all please rise. Gentlemen, remove your caps. Join us in honoring America as Dr. Guy Greitner performs our national anthem. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare once bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave.
About set for tip-off here in Loch Sheldrake, New York, between Hostos and Herkimer in Game 1 of the NJCAA National Championship Tournament. Hostos, the Caimans, which if you're wondering, and I certainly was, Caiman is a small lizard. Basically think of it as a small alligator. That's the Hostos Caimans mascot, their symbol. Hostos is in the blue and orange uniforms. The warm-ups have Caimans in bright orange letters written on the back. Herkimer in the green and gold unis. You got your starting lineups as soon as they're announced here. Hostos will be the underdog here. They've been the underdog throughout in the District 3 tournament, coming at 19-14. They knocked off Borough of Manhattan Community College to get here. Borough of Manhattan Community College was nationally ranked, so that was a pretty sizable upset with just 19 wins. They'll be facing a tough task against a Herkimer team that's won 29 and has won 5 in a row. So we're getting the starting lineups right now in the backcourt for Hostos. It's going to be Myron Hickman, number 1, a 6-foot freshman guard. He averages 13.1 per game. Joined by Javon Dawson, number 2, 6-foot sophomore guard. Robert Soriano, number 3, another sophomore guard out of Bronx, New York. And in the front court, it's number 14, Khalil Jackson, 6'5", sophomore swingman, a guard/forward out of Brooklyn, New York. And number 25, Gabriel Agorioj, 6'4", sophomore swingman out of Brooklyn, New York. So that is the 5 for Hostos. Now we'll get the 5 for Herkimer. Hostos serving as the visiting team, as the underdog in this first round matchup. Herkimer coming in there ranked number 4 overall in the national poll in the NJCAA Division III rankings. They're led by Jamel Johnson and Ken Woodard. Both we would expect to be in the starting lineup today. One of the stingiest defensive teams in the nation. Their starting lineup, Carson Murphy, a 6'5", 210-pound sophomore guard, number 1 just announced. Be joined by number 3, Jamel Johnson. Another captain, a 6'2", 190-pound sophomore guard. 4 captains on this Herkimer team. Here's another one, Ken Woodard, number 11, big man, 6'7", 210-pound sophomore forward out of Bronx, New York. That's actually where Hostos is, so Woodard kind of from Hostos' own backyard. 4th starter is number 10, Jala Tarver, 6'3", 210-pound sophomore guard. And rounding out the starting 5 for Herkimer is number 13, Dontre Langhorn, a 6'5", 180-pound sophomore guard. He leads them in assists at 4.7 per game, does Langhorn. So Herkimer, a very, very efficient team. 19.2 assists per game, that's 3rd in the nation, and they only allow just under 58 per game. Hostos, an aggressive team, one of the tops in the league, in fact, one of the tops in the country in steals. So Hostos will likely be looking to speed it up, while Herkimer will be looking to slow it down. We'll see who wins. Just about set. Herkimer in the gold with the green trim. Hostos in the blue with the orange trim. Ball is up. Woodard tips it. They fight for it on the near side, and Hostos comes away. Losing it in the lane. That was Soriano, and that's a quick turnover. Herkimer will take control. Langhorn running the point. Here's Murphy. Slowing things down, just underway, no score here in Game 1 of the NJCAA National Championship Tournament in the Division III level. Tarver. Now Langhorn. Tried the lob. It did not work. They were going for Woodard. Woodard. It's a pretty significant size advantage over everybody on the court. Knifing into the lane and laying it in. That's Hickman for the first points of the game. Quick 2-0 lead for Hostos, and they'll be pressing. Looking to force some steals, but this time Herkimer breaks the traffic. Langhorn now will slow things down, get it back out for Johnson. Langhorn in the corner, had an open shot, didn't take it. Woodard, Murphy up top, puts it in the lane, puts up a floater, a little bit too strong, but Woodard comes in for the offensive board. On the deck, that's Johnson, a floater from the free throw line. Woodard with the stuff. Woodard making his presence felt already. 2 offensive boards on that possession. Now a 2-2 game, just over a minute into this one between Hostos and Herkimer. Hostos with the ball now. They're in the orange and blue. There's a 3 way off to the right. No good from Dawson. On the run. It's Langhorn. Puts it up and in. Fast break points for Herkimer. They're up 4-2. Soriano running the point. He leads Hostos in assists, but he throws that one away. Tried to get the ball down low to Agorios. Woodard on the block. Pass back out, a deep 3, and he gets it to go. It's the lefty, Jamel Johnson, from MBA range and then some, about 27 feet. A quick 7-2 lead for Herkimer. Back to the basket, it's Jackson. Runner in the lane, can't get the scoop to go. Murphy with the board for Herkimer. Herkimer dictating the pace early. Hostos wants to get out and run. It hasn't happened yet. Here's an open 3, a little bit off. Tarver missed the open look. Dawson bringing the ball up court slowly for Hostos. He was one of the heroes in the Region 15 tournament for this team. He was the MVP, in fact. Stepping out of bounds is Jackson, and that will be another turnover, the second of the game for Hostos. 7-2 game. Herkimer on top. 17-12 to go in the first. Vasily Beshta, number 31, just checking into the game now for Hostos, a 6'5" sophomore forward out of New York. Herkimer again breaks the pressure. It's Tarver. He'll slow things down. Herkimer very deliberate in their half-court sets. They've shown they're willing to run. And now here's a lob for Woodard. Again, it doesn't work. They've tried that play twice. Twice it hasn't worked. Pushing the pace the other way. It's Hostos. Murphy will be tacked for the foul. He hacks Soriano on the way in. First foul of the game. It'll go against number 1, Murphy. Soriano going to the line for 2. Carson Murphy, one of 4 captains on this Herkimer team, along with Jamel Johnson, Ken Woodard, and Julio Galay, who we haven't seen yet. Soriano at the line for 2, a sophomore guard. The lefty rattles home the first. Soriano, a 53% free throw shooter. Not great for a guard. That now slightly higher after he hits the first. Now a 7-3 game, 16:44 to go in the first. Second no good. Soriano 1 of 2 on that trip. Score holds at 7-3. Here's Tarver. Again being pressured. Hostos looking to double. Another deep 3 on the way. This one a little bit off from Johnson. And Hostos comes away with the board. There's going to be a foul on Woodard as he went to the deck to try to get it away from Dawson. Aggressive play from Woodard, but it doesn't work there. So he kept it away for a second at least from Agorioj, but then he fouled Dawson. Herkimer trying to get it back, or rather Hostos trying to get it back to a 1-possession game, down 7-3. Down low, a wide open man, that's Bescher, and he lays it in easily. Herkimer normally very, very stout defensively, but a man got lost in the shuffle down low that time. Now 7-5 as we come up on 16 to play. Another lob for Woodard, and that one he slams home. Uncontested. Woodard, they've run that play now 3 times. They're 1 for 3. Not a great percentage, but it seems like that's one of the staples of the Herkimer offense. 9-5 game. Herkimer on top. In the lane. Beshta in trouble. He lost it. It was a bad pass by Soriano. Here's Langhorn. He'll stop and pop from the elbow, and he gets it to go. 11-5. Herkimer's lead out to 6. 15:30 on a running clock. Crossing over up top, it's Dawson into the corner. Soriano, shot fake, rejected by Murphy. Dawson keeps it alive. Now he jacks a 3. Too strong in the lane, knocked out of the hands of Jackson. It's loose on the deck, and Herkimer came away with it, and they called a timeout. Smart play by Jamel Johnson. In the lane, there was a mess. He got down on the ball, and actually they called a foul on Soriano. So that's even better for Herkimer. Now Jackson will sit down for Hostos, and we'll see Estelin Cespedes, number 11, for the first time in this ballgame for Hostos. He's their leading scorer at 19.9 per game. Doesn't start, though. Herkimer again breaks the pressure rather easily. Herkimer working their offense. Ball is nearly knocked away. Woodard comes down with it after it was in and out of the hands of Beshta. Now a 13-5 game. Woodard's second basket of the ball game. Here's Soriano. He's doubled. Beshta drives the hoop, flips it up, and gets it to go. An answer from Beshta. 13-7 game. So the two teams trade baskets. 14:30 on a running clock in the first. Murphy breaks the pressure again. Herkimer's had no problem breaking that press. Woodard underneath, too strong with the right hand. Beshta comes away with the board. Hostos looking to run, but Herkimer gets back defensively. Soriano thinks about the 3. Swinging around the perimeter. Dawson. Quick ball movement. An open 3. Cespedes, and he puts it in. Cespedes, the leading scorer for Hostos, his first points of the ball game. Hostos has it back to a 3-point game, 13-10. Wild pass. Murphy saves it in and out of the hands, though, of Jayla Tarver, and it's a turnover. First time Herkimer has turned the ball over. The pressure finally bothered them. Now a loose press from Herkimer, but they will back off. Soriano far side will cross the timeline. 13:40 on a running clock, 13-10 ball game. Herkimer on top. Soriano left it for Beshta, and there's going to be a charge. Second foul on Soriano. Murphy slid in and drew it. And he will have to sit down. So Khalil Jackson, number 14, will check back in for Hostos as Soriano is in foul trouble. Jackson, that changes the look of this Hostos team a little bit. Jackson, a big man at 6'5", Soriano, a point guard. Hostos will again press out of the foul. Woodard quickly will move it over to Langhorne. That's the guy they want to do most of the ball handling. He's doubled at the timeline, but they break the press on a nice little give and go. Here's Langhorne from the elbow, gets it to go on the fadeaway. Langhorne has showed a nice touch so far, not normally a scorer, but he has 4 points. 15-10, Herkimer on top, 13-10 on a running clock. Into the corner, a three from Cespedes, too strong. He hit from the right corner before. This time he misses from the left. Langhorne, the ball in the backcourt, crosses the timeline to Woodard. And now Herkimer will slow things down. Julio Gallet, number 0. Actually, not really a number. Bit of an oxymoron there, but he had the ball for a second. Now has it back on the wing. Another one of the captains for Herkimer. There's a deep three on the way off an air ball. Kept alive by Murphy. But Hostos comes away with it. Solon at half court. Here's Woodard. He's going to go in for a big dunk, and he slams it with 2 hands. Dawson had his pocket picked. He was dribbling in traffic at half court. And Woodard knew he had a free one there, and he wanted to make it count. He now has 6. It's a 17-10 game. Herkimer on top of Hostos. 12:22 to go in the first half, and a timeout taken by Hostos, as they don't want to see this lead stretch to double digits. They got it to within 3 a couple minutes ago, but Herkimer has led in that 5 to 6 point range for most of the game so far. Woodard now has 6 points, all of them about a foot away from the basket. 2 dunks and a layup as well. Dontre Langhorne has been effective 2. Moved the ball well, broken the press well, and has 4 points. We'll try to get all of the stats in a bit as soon as we get the stat portal up and running. Don't think it is just yet. Hostos again coming in at 19-14. They're an interesting story because they upset one of the teams you figured to be here, a nationally ranked Borough of Manhattan Community College. They beat them 69-62 at a massive halftime lead of 16 points, and then withstood a mad scramble at the end from BMCC to hold them off and get to this tournament. It's their first appearance since 2007 and 2008. They won in 2005, so they've had some success at this tournament before. Hostos ball out of the timeout. Hostos in the blue and orange. Herkimer, the higher seed in the gold and green. It's Mitchell running the point right now. Backdoor cut for Cespedes. Ball's out of bounds off of Cespedes last, and it will go to Herkimer. Cespedes has hit a 3 so far. He is Hostos' biggest gun at 19.9 points per game. He's the highest scorer in this game. Again, pressure from Hostos. Doubled near side, and getting bailed out by a foul was Jamel Johnson. That one will go against Hickman. That's his first, and the Cayman's third. Running the point, it's Gallet. So moving around the perimeter, it's Johnson. Herkimer again, in no rush once they get into the half court. Here's a 3 on the way, a little bit too short. In the lane, coming away with the rebound is Langhorne. Back in the lane, knifing in, and it's no good. from Owens, who missed the 3 earlier. So Owens 0 for 2. Here's Beshta to the hoop, and he lays it in. Beshta, the big man, caught that one on the elbow and took it the rest of the way. Now a 17-12 game. Hostos back within 5, 11:20 on a running clock. Ball's out of bounds off of Hostos last. Hickman got a hand on it. Langhorn to inbound. And now Hostos will back off. Hostos looking to double every chance they get to try to force turnovers. Langhorn. Now Owens. Taking his time, calling out plays. Galay now will set up the offense. Between the circles. Picks up his dribble. Now he's in some trouble looking for help. Gets it far side for Johnson. 4 on the shot clock. They have to hurry. Johnson puts it on the deck into the corner. A desperation 3 is too short. Long rebound is corralled into the backcourt. And it's saved momentarily. Galay nearly has it. Tipped out of bounds. And it'll stay with Herkimer. Off of Cespedes last. Disjointed play. It ended up working out okay for Herkimer. Riascos missed that desperation 3 in the corner. Number 23, he's checking out now. But good effort by Owens to keep the ball alive. Now number 1, Carson Murphy, check back into the ball game. Murphy leads the team in rebounding and steals at 8.3 and 1.6 respectively, despite standing just 6'5". You don't often see guards lead a team in rebounding, but Murphy does. There is Murphy. Shot fake. Thought about it again, but won't take it. Tarver. A leaner off balance, a little bit too strong, and Beshta comes away with the board. Here's Hostos looking to push. In the lane, taking it the length of the court, is Jonathan Mitchell, making his presence felt already. He goes coast to coast. 17-14, now a 3-point game. Hostos back within 1 possession at a foul in the lane as knifing his way in was Jamel Johnson. That foul will go against Mitchell. The 4th for the Caymans and the 1st for Mitchell. Murphy to inbound for Herkimer. Khalil Jackson, number 14, just checked back in. Just checking him. Here's Tarver running the offense. Langhorn, who's been in the ball game the entire time so far, he's being hounded by Cespedes, and that's a double dribble. So the pressure from Cespedes gets the Langhorn, who normally handles the ball very, very well. Marquis Poole, the head coach of Hostos, will be happy about that. 17-14. Herkimer on top. Now under 10 to play in the first half. The opening half of this NJCAA tournament. Cespedes a shot fake in the left corner. Puts it on the deck inside. Beshta, and he lays it in. Good look by Cespedes. Now it's a 17-16 game, just a 1-point spread. Langhorn on the far side. Now Murphy. Quick ball movement to break the press. Langhorn again has it. And checked by Mitchell. 20 on the shot clock. Herkimer very, very deliberate as they set up the play. They don't turn it over much, and they're one of the best assist teams in the nation. Putting it on the deck, and a fancy layup wouldn't go by Johnson, but getting it to go on the follow is Woodard, who's just checked back into the game. Woodard now has 8. 19-16, a 3-point spread. Herkimer on top, under 9 to play. Driving inside and getting it to go off the window is Myron Hickman, who's just checked back in, number 1 for Hostos. Back to a 1-point game. 2 teams trading baskets back and forth. Hostos hanging in there. Here's Woodard for Johnson. Now they'll slow things down. Inside, a give and go. Woodard was fouled. Shot wouldn't go. That was a set play. Excellently executed by Herkimer. Murphy to Langhorn, who on a little touch pass tried to get it for Woodard. They were going for the lob. They keep going for the lobs to Woodard. It's now worked 2 of 4 times. He'll be at the line for 2 shots. 66.3% free throw shooter is the big man Woodard. First is good. That's his 9th point of the game. Woodard averaging 13.6 points and 8.2 boards on the season. second in points and rebounds on this Herkimer team. Number 34, Dawn Smith, just checked back into the game. Or rather, just checked into the game for the first time for Hostos, as Woodard hits his second. Now a 21-18 game, Herkimer on top. 8:20 on a running clock in the first half. Here's Mitchell. Mitchell can be dynamic off the bench at times, but he doesn't always get steady playing time. Cespedes, that's it in the lane. Extra pass from Mitchell, but it was off his hands. He wasn't expecting it. Nice little wraparound pass from Jackson, but he caught his man Smith unaware. And that'll be a turnover for Hostos. Pretty clean first half, all things considered so far. Not many turnovers, despite the fact that Hostos does press at pretty much every opportunity. Here's Murphy setting up the offense. Tarver will slow things down as they'll move it around the perimeter. Herkimer very, very deliberate. 15 on the shot clock. Here's Tarver, tried to get it in the lane, and it was taken away. Here's Beshta. Behind the back dribble for Cespedes on the wing, and he lays it in off the window. Cespedes hanging in the air, absorbing the contact, and getting the difficult shot to go. That's what Hostos wants to do. They forced a turnover and got out and ran. Now a 1-point game. 7:25 on a running clock. Here's a three from Johnson. Too strong, high rebound. Woodard kept it alive momentarily, but it was taken away by Khalil Jackson. Here's Cespedes on the run, and he flips it in with a right-handed finger roll. Hostos with their first lead of the ball game. It's 22-21. Quick ball movement, a 2-on-1. Here's Tarver. Too strong off the window. He was looking for a foul. Cespedes again on the run, but he'll slow things down. Here's Jackson. Extra pass inside Harper. And he was fouled. Make that Beshta. Beshta back in the ball game now. He's been effective so far. He'll be going to the line for 2. And that's Carson Murphy's second foul. So that might force him to sit. I'll say Beshta was not in the act of shooting. So it will be Hostos ball. Now Felix Riascos checks back into the game for Herkimer, as Murphy will be forced to sit. Giving it away right off of the inbounds was Jackson. That one is stolen by Langhorne. Langhorne in traffic, a difficult pass for Woodard, and it's stolen. Back the other way, and again it's stolen right back. Dawson was stripped from behind by Riascos. Two teams trading turnovers. Pace picking up a bit and play getting a little bit sloppy. Tarver now will slow things down. This is more the pace Herkimer wants. Riascos couldn't save it. Tried to get moving before he caught the ball, and he turns it over. Jaliyah Tarver will sit for Herkimer. As Daniel Owens, number 5, will check back in. Here's Dawson running the offense for Hostos. They're on top 22-21, 6:20 on a running clock in the first half. Cespedes doubled. Skip pass for Smith. The free throw line, Beshta. Here's a 3 straight on. A little bit too short from Dawson. Rebound is tipped, saved by Woodard. And coming away with it is Langhorne and Herkimer. Langhorne, extra pass. Owens a 3. He got it. On the run, Langhorne running the fast break. He finds Owens. And Herkimer back on top, 24-22. Under 6 to go in the first half. Far side, Cespedes. A heat check 3, too strong. Kept alive momentarily, and it was fouled. Was Jackson. Pulled the chair out from under him, and he went down hard. Good work by Jackson, though. That was not an easy rebound to get to. That'll be the 5th foul for Herkimer. 2 subs. Number 32, Kanan McCarthy checking in. Foul will go against Riascos. Off the inbounds, getting stuffed was Ogorioj. They'll call a jump ball. Possession arrow for Herkimer. Ogorioj, who just checked back in, he went up with that one in traffic, and he was rejected by a couple of Herkimer generals. So on the alternating possession, it will go back to Herkimer. They're up 2, under 6 to play in the first half. Riascos nearly threw that one away, but Gallet saved it. Gallet, a very quick little guard. He has it back right now between the circles. Herkimer again taking their time, working the ball around methodically. Into the corner, Riascos had an open look. Now will take it. A deep two, too strong. Long rebound. Riascos keeps it alive. On the deck, they fight for it. They'll call jump ball. This time it'll be Cayman's ball. Cespedes, good work by him. Looked like he actually ripped that one away from Riascos. But Hostos will get the ball on alternating possession anyway. So here's Dawson. Dawson, the MVP of the Region 15 tournament. There's a 2 from the elbow that's good for Magorios. Tie ball game, 24-all. Riascos. Now Owens, nice little give and go on the wing underneath. McCarthy couldn't handle it. A fadeaway won't go. Coming away with it is Gallet. His shot rejected, and Hostos will look to run 3-on-2. Here's Dawson. He was stripped as he tried to go up with it. Again, loose on the deck. Agorios from the block, and he gets it to go with the left hand. A helter-skelter possession, but it works out for Hostos, and losing the ball, but being saved by the fact that it went out of bounds was Jamel Johnson. 26-24 game, Hostos on top, 4:27 to go in the first half. Kanan McCarthy will sit down, and Ken Woodard will check back into the game. Far side, that's Jamel Johnson setting up the offense. No Langhorn right now for Herkimer. He's getting a brief rest. Gallet in the corner. Thinks about the shot. Instead, he'll feed Woodard on the block. Back for Gallet. Goes up with it, nearly had an up and down, and now the ball is thrown away by Johnson. Another steal for Hostos. In a rush, it's Dawson to the hoop, and he was fouled. Hostos, the pace picking up more in their favor. The second half of this half. A lot more speed to the game and a few steals, too. That's the way they want to play. Herkimer wants to play a deliberate passing style where they run their offensive sets. So Dawson at the line for 2. He's a 54% free throw shooter. He can stretch the lead to 4 if he hits both, as he hits the first. Langhorn checks back in for Herkimer, number 13. He'll do a lot of the ball handling. Second good from Dawson as well. 2 for 2 on that trip. Stretch the lead to 28-24, the largest lead of the ball game for Hostos, who once trailed by 7. Now under 4 to play in the first half. Owens a 3 off to the right, and Dawson comes away with the board. Dawson looking to push. Instead, he's cut off by Owens. Gets into the lane anyway, and they'll wave this one off before the shot. A foul on Owens. Dawson wanted the continuation. He won't get it. Instead, that is the 6th foul on the Herkimer Generals. 1 more, and Hostos will be shooting. Hostos has 5 team fouls. Cespedes the inbound. Into the corner for Dawson. Skip pass on the wing for Jackson, who goes to the lane, and he was fouled. Hostos doing a solid job of attacking the basket here. That'll be the 7th foul now on Herkimer. Jackson will be shooting 2. It was a shooting foul, but from here on out, any foul by Herkimer will result in shots. Jackson, a 67% free throw shooter, and he hits the first. Kanan McCarthy checks back into the game now. He's played sparingly here in the first. Ken Woodard will sit down. Woodard has been in and out of the ball game so far. Very effective when he's in them. Jackson's second rattles home. Now a 30-24 game. Hostos on top, 3:40 on a running clock in the first half. Hostos, the heavy underdogs, nearly a steal by Jackson. Instead, it's a 2-on-1 break. Here's Gallet. Up top, Owens, and he'll slow things down. Herkimer again looking to run clock when they get the ball. They want to be slow and deliberate. Here's a 3 from Tarver, a little bit too strong. Herkimer's missed some open looks from 3 in this half. Normally a pretty good three-point shooting team at 34.5%. Here's Dawson into the lane, flips it up off to the left, kept alive momentarily, but the ball will go to Herkimer. It was off of Don Smith last. So again, Hostos will press off of this inbounds. Beshta, number 31, checks back in now. Don Smith will sit. Langhorne will inbound. He's been Herkimer's most effective and safest ball handler so far, and you see it there with a nice little skip pass for Tarver. Tarver doubled, back for Langhorne, and now Galay will hold out his hand and slow things down. Into the corner, it's Galay. Langhorne gets the floater to go from the block. He has 6. Back to a 4-point game, 30-26. Hostos on top of Herkimer. To 47 to go in the first half, the opening half of this NJCAA National Championship Division III tournament. Herkimer, the number 4 team in the nation in the latest poll. Hostos unranked, but again, they upset nationally ranked Borough of Manhattan Community College to get here. That was to win District 5 in the Region 15 tournament. 8 districts in men's Division III junior college basketball. Each of the teams here won their district, and inside of those districts, there are several regions as well. Hostos from Region 15. 2 New York districts. It's split up into upstate and downstate. Herkimer, the representative from upstate, and Hostos from the Bronx, the representative from downstate. They've been the underdogs throughout. They're trying to keep themselves alive in pretty good shape. Up 4, 2:44 to go in the opening half. They'll try to stretch this lead out here as it is Hostos ball out of the timeout. Here's Jackson. He's doubled underneath a wide-open Beshta, and he lays it in. Beshta keeps finding the seams in the defense. That's his second wide-open uncontested layup. Now a 6-point game. Hostos on top. Here's Galay spinning in the lane, and traffic swatted away from behind by Beshta. Ball stays alive, and Herkimer has it. 18 on the shot clock. The shot clock did not reset. Underneath McCarthy, off his hands, out of bounds. A somewhat quicker pace of that possession from Herkimer. We've seen them be very, very deliberate so far. Not so much that time. Perhaps being down unexpectedly has caused them to pick things up a little bit. Here's Cespedes, who's just checked back in. Ball fake. Now he'll stop and pop and gets to the go from 16 in the baseline. Now an 8-point game. Largest lead of the ball game for either team. 34-26. Hostos on top. Under 2 to play in the first half. Could have our first upset of the tournament here if this holds. But a lot of ball game to play. A deep 3 on the way off from Owens. Galay gets it to go on the follow. Galay bailing out Owens, who took a somewhat ill-advised shot. Back to a 6-point game. Hostos on top. Hostos in the orange and blue, or rather blue and orange. That's a better way to put it. Cespedes a 3, a little bit off balance, and he missed to the left. Here's Langhorne. For Owens. Back for Langhorne, top of the key. He'll pull up and fire. Too strong. McCarthy's foul wouldn't go. Ball's tip staying alive. Jackson has it, and Hostos has numbers. Jackson nearly lost the ball. Now he gets it back on the deck. Langhorne has it. They fight for it. Mad scramble. It's still loose. Now they'll call a jump ball. Langhorne is down there. So is Jackson. Possession arrow is for Herkimer. Hostos had numbers, but Jackson just lost the ball. Got a little bit too high with his dribble and ended up losing that opportunity to attack on a 4-on-2 break. Now Beshta will sit down for Hostos. Agorios, number 25, will check back in. 34-28 game. 48 on a running clock in the first half. Johnson taking his time. Langhorne back for Johnson. They move it around the perimeter. Tarver in traffic. Now Owens up top. Johnson on the wing, 12 on the shot clock. Johnson will try a three, and the lefty rattles it home. Big shot from Johnson to get it back to a one-possession game. 34-31 game, 18 on a running clock in the first half. This will be the last possession of the first half. Hostos can run it down and hold for the last shot, which is what they will do. Here's Dawson. 7 on the clock. Looks like he'll take it himself. Jacks a three. Got it. An answer three from Dawson. 37-31. A desperation heave at the buzzer is way off from Tarver. And we will head into the half with Hostos on top, 37-31. Perhaps an upset brewing against the number 4 team in the nation, the Herkimer College Generals. They lead by 6. Herkimer, or rather Hostos, trailed by 7, 17-10. At one point in this half, but they came storming back, and they now lead by 6. So we will take a quick break for halftime. We'll be back in about 15 minutes for the start of the second in Game 1 of the NJCAA National Championship Men's Division III bracket. Ricky Sobrano back here with you on the Turbo Sports Network in Loch Sheldrake, New York at the Paul Jerry Fieldhouse for the second half of this opening game matchup between Herkimer and Hostos in the NJCAA National Junior College Division III Championship. Hostos, the underdogs in this one, on top of the number 3 seed Herkimer College Generals at 37-31. Hostos trailed by as many as 7 in the first half, but came storming back, and now they have themselves a 6-point lead and the ball to start the second half. Cespedes, number 11, will inbound the ball for Hostos in the blue and orange. Herkimer in the gold with green trim. It's Cespedes, Soriano, Hickman, Jackson, and Agorioj to begin the half for Hostos. Let's get past, it's Hickman. Bit of an amoeba zone right now from Herkimer. So they work the double on the far side, but Hickman gets out of it. Hickman crosses over up top. Cespedes, an open look from 3, way too short. Rebound is tipped, kept alive. Cespedes has it, tries to save it, and he does so, alertly throwing the ball off of the foot of Murphy, who is shaken up a little bit. That stung, it looked like. So we'll stay with Hostos. Herkimer starts their same starting 5. That is Johnson, Langhorne, Murphy, Tarver, and Woodard, as they have a bit of a deficit to make up here. Trailing by 6 is got a discussion going on down by the scorer's table right now. Looks like the Herkimer bench did not necessarily agree with that call. Ken Woodard led all scorers with 12 in the first half. Problem is he only played 13 minutes because of foul trouble. He has 2. Beshta, number 31, who's starting the game, or starting the half as he did the game on the bench, led Hostos with 10 in 14 minutes of play. Soriano gets it in. Bit of a wild pass corralled by Cespedes. Hickman thought about the 3, but he won't take it. He'll slow things down, as Hostos does have a fresh shot clock to deal with. Nice pass underneath, but blowing the layup was Jackson. Keeping it alive is Soriano, then he lost it. It was taken away by Langhorne, and then he was fouled by Jackson. Jackson did not agree with the call, but it was a bit of a dive. And that's the first foul of the half, and Jackson's first overall. So here's Langhorne running the point for Herkimer. First time we've seen Hostos back off and just let Herkimer bring the ball up court unimpeded. There's Woodard in the block. Extra pass, a floater in the lane, and getting it to go is Jamel Johnson. The lefty hits that one to get the game back to a 4-point spread. Jamel Johnson now has 8 points. Second on the team. So here's Hickman. Slow things down from the elbow. And missing is Agorioj. Agorioj, another lefty shot. Can't get that one to go. Agorioj, a quiet first half. Had some foul trouble. Only played 8 minutes. 37-33. Hostos on top by 4. Here's a 3 from Johnson. Off to the right. Long rebound. Cespedes has it. Now Hostos will look to run. Here's Cespedes in the lane. Lost the ball and a charge. Good job by Tarver to step in front of Cespedes. It was a little bit out of control. That's Cespedes, the leading scorer for this Hostos team. That's his first foul. Came in averaging 19.9 per game. Murphy inbounding for Herkimer. Now Hostos will press. They backed off on Herkimer's first possession. Not this time. Jackson nearly swatted that one away from Johnson. Now he threw it away. Tarver turns it over. In the lane, a floater won't go from Hickman. Rebound for Herkimer. Now Herkimer has numbers if they push it. Here's Woodard, and he can't finish, but tipping it and getting it to go is Murphy. Woodard tried the athletic finish in traffic. Just missed, but Murphy soared in and tipped it home. Now a 2-point game. Under 18 to play in the second half. Hostos still on top. Cespedes open in the corner, a 3. A little bit too short. Rebound for Langhorne. Langhorne is Mr. Do Everything. for Herkimer. Assists, rebounds, scores, does a little bit of it all. And there he is laying it in on the assist from Tarver on the other end. Tie game. Herkimer has the first 6 of the second half, and right on cue, Marquis Poole, head coach of Hostos, wants a timeout as he's seen his team's 6-point lead evaporate in a span of just 2 minutes and 37 seconds here in the second half. So that last possession, fueled by Langhorne, he now has 10 points. Give him 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 3 steals, and they charged him with 5 turnovers in the first half, which a little bit unkind there. There were turnover numbers a bit high in the first, 11 for Hostos, 10 for Herkimer, but there were a few where the ball changed hands 2 or 3 times at the bottom of a scrum or in a matter of 2 or 3 seconds, so you could count 2 or 3, maybe even 4 different possessions on a few of those scrambles if you wanted to, and that seems to be what they did, hence the high number of turnovers in the first half. But in any event, that's Hostos' game. They want to first force turnovers, average 14.3 steals per game. That's second in the nation. That's what they want to do, and comparatively, Herkimer, a very deliberate offensive team during the regular season, 19.2 assists per game they average. That's third in the nation, and they don't turn it over too often either. Only 13 times per game during the regular season, so they're on pace to absolutely obliterate that. On pace for 20 turnovers so far, but see how things change in the second. Hostos ball. Jackson nearly lost it, and now throwing it away is Dawson. But losing it on the deck is Tarver. Now Jackson tries to lay it in, and it's going to be a charge. No, a block they'll call. So Jackson going to the line for 2. Foul will go against Jamel Johnson. That's his second, and Herkimer's first of the half. Another turnover forced by Hostos after Herkimer had forced one of their own. So again, that's another one of those sequences I was just mentioning where the ball changes hands 2 or 3 times in a matter of seconds. We've had quite a few of those as Jackson hits his first. Puts Hostos back on top by 1. 38-37, 17:07 to go in the second half. Second from Jackson. Unkind rims as it rattles out. Still a 1-point game. Hostos on top. Woodard looking for help, and he gets it across the timeline for Johnson. Johnson doubled in trouble, picked up his dribble. Woodard saves it on the far side. Nice play by Woodard. He was in all sorts of trouble. That's a big man out on the perimeter. And now a foul as Hostos came to double Jala Tarver. And he was bumped a little bit. Foul will go against Jackson. Really could have called it on any of 2 guys there. That's Jackson's second. Here's a Langhorne running the point. Herkimer being very deliberate here. Looks like a zone defense from Hostos, a 2-3 zone. They'll look the double when they get a chance. Here's a 3 from Johnson. Rattles out from straight on. Soaring for the board is Langhorne, and they'll call travel. We'll go back to Hostos. No argument from Langhorne. Hostos on top by 1. The underdog in this game in the blue and orange unis. Cespedes on the wing. A zone D from Herkimer. Nice little touch pass inside, and getting it to go from the elbow is Jackson. All set up by Cespedes, who dropped the dime right between 2 Herkimer players. 3-point game. Hostos on top, 40-37. Under 16 to play in the second half. Here's Langhorne crossing over up top. Into the corner, that's Tarver. Tries to get it for Woodard. Absorbs the contact. Can't finish. Gets it back. And a foul underneath. Will go against Hostos. Not a shooting foul. So the ball will stay with Herkimer. That'll go against Gabriel Agoriage, his first foul. Murphy to inbound for Herkimer. swinging around the perimeter. Here's a three on the way from Tarver off to the left. Rebound for Jackson. Hostos will look to push again. Here's Cespedes, lost the ball. He thought about stopping and popping. Here's a turnover going the other way. Here's Langhorn, leaves it for Woodard, and he flips it up, and he can't rattle it home, gets it back, and lets the follow to go. Woodard had a good look at the hoop, blew the layup, got his own rebound, and got the follow. Here's a three off to the right. Rebound in the lane for Gregorios. Right back to the man who missed the three, Hickman. Cespedes on the wing. Inside, can't finish in traffic as Jackson off to the left, and Woodard comes down with the board for Herkimer. Woodard doing a good job of playing with those two fouls. They need him out on the court. Herkimer down one. Under 15 to play in the second half. Into the corner, Murphy. Thought about the three. Get it back for Johnson. Langhorn in the lane. Leaves it for Woodard. Flips it up. No good from the block. Tipped up and in by Jayla Tarver, number 10. Actually, they announced that basket as Woodard. I don't know if he got that, though. Looked like Tarver might have been the guy to soar in and tip home the follow. Herkimer back on top. Cespedes a three, and he gets it to go. Big answer from Cespedes. Hostos back on top. 43-41, 14-10 on a running clock in the second. Back and forth game. Hostos was up 6 to start the half. Stripped is Jackson. Up ahead. Hostos has numbers, but losing the ball was Hickman, or rather Cespedes. He had a gimme, and he just could not finish. Ball slipped right out of his hands, and now a timeout taken. That would have stretched the lead back to 4. Instead, it's a 43-41 game. Herkimer down by 2. Hostos, the underdogs, came in with just 19 wins, playing the number 4 team in the nation. Herkimer has a bit of a history in this tournament. They won the title in '91, coached by Matt Lee, who was actually a former Herkimer player. Finished 3rd 2 years ago. This is their 3rd straight appearance and 4th overall. So they're no stranger to this tournament and to this building as well. As of those 3 straight appearances, all of them were held here at SUNY Sullivan in Loch Sheldrake, New York. But they're on the ropes here early, down 43-41, despite being the favorite in this opening round matchup. And in fact, the opening game of the Division III National Championship. Murphy to inbound for Herkimer out of the timeout. Herkimer down by 2. Murphy's had a somewhat quiet game offensively. Nearly losing the ball was Langhorn. It's still loose. He has it, and he was fouled. Langhorn's been a little bit loose with the ball here in the second half. Foul will go against Khalil Jackson. That's his 3rd, and he'll have to sit as a result. He's had an active game. All 3 of those fouls here in the second. Already the 5th foul for Hostos this half. That's something to watch. Now number 34, Dawn Smith. They'll check in as Jackson sits. Here's Tarver, slowing things down. Herkimer likes to be very deliberate in their offense. Quick ball movement. It's Murphy dribbling on the perimeter. Feeds Woodard in the block. Give and go for Langhorn, who lays it in. Beautifully executed. Give and go between Woodard and Langhorn. Tie ball game, 43-all, 13-22 on a running clock in the second half. Crossing over up top, it's Dawson, blocked by Woodard, but the foul was good from Smith. Beautiful move by Dawson. Great recovery, though, by Woodard. And the follow from Smith, who just fell down to the ground unimpeded. 45-43, Hostos back on top. And even 13 on a running clock. Here's Langhorn, puts it on the deck, flips it up and in, off the window. Langhorn, back-to-back baskets for Herkimer. He's heating up. 45-all. We're tied up. Smith, he's doubled on the baseline, puts it on the deck, wild pass in the lane. It's corralled by Bescher, who absorbs the contact and finishes off glass. Great play by Bescher as he bailed out Smith, who was a little bit out of control there. 47-45, Hostos on top. Two teams trading baskets the last few minutes. Herkimer has not led since midway through the first half. With a 3, they would take the lead. I haven't hit a 3 since early on in the ball game, though. Murphy, a dangerous pass in traffic. Unfortunately for him, Johnson was fouled. And we'll go against Javon Dawson. That's his first, and Hostos is 6, so one more. And Herkimer will be shooting already. And that's with 12:07 to go in the second. That is a storyline to watch. Free throws could end up being a major factor in what is a tight ball game so far. Here's Langhorne in traffic, gets it back out. Here's a long 2 from Riascos, too short. Rebound for Cespedes and Hostos. Try to make it a 2-possession game again. Here's Dawson, a 3. Too strong, long rebound for Galay. No, he lost it. Cespedes has it. Puts it on the deck. Flips it up a little bit out of control. Too strong. The follow good from Beshta. Beshta has been very active. He now has 14. It's a 4-point game, 49-45. Hostos on top, 11:35 on a running clock. Here's Galay to the hoop. And he was fouled. Beshta is arguing that he tied him up. Because Beshta ended up with the ball, but they're going to call the foul on that initial contact before Beshta ripped the ball away from the much smaller Julio Galay. Only 5'11", 180 pounds is the sophomore guard out of the Bronx. He'll be shooting 2, Will Galay. 79% free throw shooter, but he misses that one. Now Daniel Owens will check in as Dontre Langhorne will sit down. Langhorne getting his first break of the second half. Galay hits his second. Now a 3-point game, 49-46. Hostos on top, 11:28. On a running clock in the second. Here's Dawson. Now Cespedes, shot fake, puts it on the deck, blocked from behind, but staying with it and getting it to go is Dawn Smith. Smith persistence on the boards. It's the second chance basket in a row for Hostos. The first one was by Beshta. The lead to 5. Wild pass. That was nearly picked off. So it was intended for Johnson. There's a deep 2 from Riascos. It wouldn't go from the baseline. Rebound for Hostos. Pace picking up again. That's what Hostos wants. Here's Dawson, a floater. Well too short. A little bit out of control. Hostos gets it back, though. Shot from the elbow, way off to the left. Hickman wanted a foul. No cell, though. Now Herkimer will slow things down. One of these teams wants to push. The other wants to slow it down. Hostos, the team that wants to play fast. Herkimer, the one that wants to slow things down. They have the ball now. That pass, again, nearly stolen at the timeline by Dawson. A little bit sloppy by Galay. Here's Riascos to the hoop, and he gets that one to go. Riascos has been shooting a lot in this second half. Hadn't hit until now. Give him 1 basket out of 3 attempts in the second. Back to a 3-point game. Herkimer down, 51-48 as we come up on 10 to play. Cespedes a 3, too short. Rebound for Owens, he'll look to push. Nearly lost the ball, though, as Cespedes got back. Now he's in trouble, gets it for Johnson. Johnson crosses over, flips it up, and gets it to go from the free throw line. Back to a 1-point game, 51-50, Hostos on top. 9:44 on a running clock in the second half. Dawson a 3. Got it, and a foul underneath, which appears to be going against Herkimer. Or will they wave off the basket? Let's see. Dawson saying it counts. It's not up on the scoreboard yet, though. He's looking up there. And they will count it. So the 3 is good from Dawson, and then the foul is on Herkimer. So the ball will stay with Hostos, a double whammy for Hostos, or rather for Herkimer, and now a timeout taken too. So it's now a 54-50 ball game. Hostos clinging to this lead. They haven't surrendered it yet in the second half, led by 6. At the half, 37-31. Herkimer scored the first 6 points of the half to get it to 37 all. And since then, Hostos has managed to keep their nose in front by as little as 1 at times, but that last 3 stretched it back to a 4-point game, 54-50. 9:39 to go in the second half, with an upset brewing here in the first round of the NJCAA Division III Men's National Championship Tournament. It is Hostos ball out of the timeout because of that foul underneath on Herkimer. That's their second foul of the half. It'll go against Riascos. That's a costly foul because the 3 counted, and now Hostos gets the ball too. They have a chance to stretch it to 6 or 7. Soriano will inbound for Hostos. To the corner for Jackson, who just checked back in. He was doubled, but got it back out anyway. And now a foul. Blocking foul. Looks like it will go against Woodard. Nope, they'll give it to Owens instead, which is a good break for Herkimer. That would have been Woodard's third. Losing it underneath, though, was Beshta. Murphy comes away with it for Herkimer. Back in the game is Langhorn. He just had it for a second. Now Galay will look to set up the offense. Murphy back for Galay. Bit of a high pass. Hostos again pressuring. That's their game. It's bothered Herkimer a bit. They've turned it over more often than they're used to as Owens rims out that 3. A deep one. About a 24-footer. Herkimer has gotten some decent looks from deep as losing the ball at half court is Beshta. Going the other way, Owens. And he was fouled. So Owens will be shooting 2. Mitchell tried to draw the charge. No sale. That'll be his second foul. 1 number 5 fouling the other. So Owens at the line. Finished my thought from before. Herkimer has gotten some decent looks from deep, but most of them are very deep. Beyond the 3-point line by several feet, in fact. So if they brought it in a little bit closer to the line, maybe try a 21-footer instead of a 24-footer, maybe some of those looks will sink. Hasn't been the case so far, though. Only 2 threes in the first half for Herkimer, and by my count, none in the second. Second from Owens, rims out. He's 1 for 2 on that trip, but he got it back to a 1-possession game, 54-51, under 9 to play. In the ball game, Hostos on top, an upset brewing here. Hickman running the point now. His pass is stolen by Woodard. Great play by him. Here's Owens back for Woodard to the hoop, and he can't finish the layup. The follow won't go either from Murphy, and a third attempt, and a foul called as Owens, one of the smallest guys on the court, somehow came down with that last board, and will go to the line for 2 again. Woodard can absolutely soar when he gets moving. The biggest guy on the court at 6'7", but he just missed that layup. Murphy's follow wouldn't go, and then Owens was hacked on his way up on the third attempt. So he's at the line for 2. He just went 1 for 2, and he misses the first half of that 2-shot attempt there. Hickman will sit down for Hostos. Dawson, number 2, will check back in. Owens, a 67% free throw shooter. He rattles home the second. Now a 2-point game, 54-52. Hostos still on top. 8:30 to go on a running clock in the second half. Dawson near side. 24 on the shot clock for Soriano. From the elbow, it's a Gorioj, and he gets it to go. He's hit that shot twice in this game, as a nice touch does the lefty. Back to a 4-point and 2-possession game. Hostos on top. Owens. Looked like he was going to run it first. Now underneath Golay. Beautiful pass from Langhorn that finds him. Back to a 2-point game, 56-54. Hostos clinging to a 2-point lead under 8 to play in the second half. Here's Dawson. Works around the screen from Gorioj. Now back the other way. Skip pass for Soriano. Now he'll fire to the 3, and he gets it to go. Rainbow 3 from the lefty Soriano. Didn't shoot it in rhythm. Put it on the deck after he caught it, then fired away. And now it's a 5-point lead for Hostos. Langhorne doing some fancy dribbling. He'll back out and give the ball to Owens. For Galay on the far side. Now Owens a deep three, and he answers. A 25-footer from Owens, and it's back to a 2-point game. 7:10 on a running clock in the second half. Hostos on top. Herkimer's attempted a lot of deep threes. They finally get that one to go. Here's Soriano. He made the last shot. Dawson a three. Too short. Rebound for Woodard. Langhorne. 6'5", kind of a point forward type would be the role he plays in this offense. Does a lot of the ball handling, but he's not really a point guard because he's one of the bigger guys on the team. Owens doing a lot of the ball handling this possession. Wild pass saved by Galay in the corner. He flips it up and in from 16. And the baseline, he was doubled, but got the shot to go anyway. And now a timeout called by Marquis Poole and Hostos as it's a tie game, 59-59. 6:23 to go in the second half. Hostos hasn't trailed in the second. Game has been tied twice, once at 37 and now at 59. Hostos has led really since about midway through the first half. They were down 17-10 at one point, came back, tied it, then eventually took the lead. Stretched it as far as 6 in the first half, and then allowed Herkimer to score the first 6 points of the second to immediately knot it right back up. Since then, it's been largely a back-and-forth affair with Hostos on top most of the time, but Herkimer really never further than an arm's reach away. They've never been further than 6 points back here in this half. So a back-and-forth affair. Herkimer, the heavy favorites in this one, the fourth-ranked team in the nation, coming in at 29-3. They're on a 5-game winning streak that is very much in jeopardy right now. Hostos, the team that sort of got hot at the right time. They got hot in their regional tournament, won 3 in a row, including nationally ranked Borough of Manhattan Community College in the final to qualify for this tournament. Nobody really expected them to be here, but they are here right now and threatening Herkimer in what would be the first upset of the tournament. Herkimer, a 3rd seed. Hostos, one of the teams that was selected by blind draw. The first 4 are seeded. This is the way the tournament works. The first 4 are seeded, and then the other 4 teams, it's determined by a blind draw who they play. Herkimer, one of the ranked teams. Hostos, not the case. Here's Cespedes in the corner. 59 all the ball game. Dawson in the lane, flips it up and gets it to go with the right hand. Dawson at 6 feet tall, able to finish in traffic. He was the MVP of that Region 15 tournament. 61-59, Hostos back on top, under 6 to play. Herkimer trying to stave off elimination. Here's Galay. Now Owens. Murphy back in the ball game. Owens another deep three, and he gets it to go again. Second one he's hit from that spot, 25 feet straight on. 62-61, Herkimer's first lead since early in the first half. 5:30 on a running clock. Cespedes splits the double team, flips it up, blocked by Woodard. Big block by him, and then a travel by Murphy as he fell down. He got the rebound. Fell to the deck, tried to get rid of the ball before he hit the deck, but he could not. So a bit of a break for Hostos as the ball will stay with them. Cespedes in the corner. Skip pass, a 3 on the way. Dawson, and he hits it to go. Dawson with the answer, 3. Hostos back on top, 64-62 as we come up on 5 to play. Galay in a rush. In traffic and nearly threw it away. Now Murphy will slow things down. Galay, an open look from 18, too strong. Rebound for Soriano and Hostos. Hostos, the underdog in blue and orange. Here's a 3 from Soriano. The lefty missed to the left. Rebound for Woodard, and another travel. Second possession in a row in which one of the big men for Herkimer, first Murphy, this time Woodard, came down with a board and then traveled. Langhorne checks back in for Herkimer. Hostos on top by 2. Cespedes an open look. Too strong. He got open right off of the inbounds. Rebound for Jackson, though. And Hostos will keep it alive. They'll get a fresh 35. That was a fortunate break for Herkimer. Cespedes got lost in the shuffle right off the inbounds, and it won't get a better look than that. Normally he'd hit that. The leading scorer for this Hostos team at 19.9 per game. Jackson stop and pop. No good. Make that Dawson. Too strong. And coming away with the board is Langhorne. Here's Murphy. For Johnson. Going to look to slow things down and get the Herkimer Generals into their offense, nearly throwing it away, and now it's stolen. Cespedes up ahead for Soriano, and he was fouled as he got the shot to go. Sloppy pass. That was Johnson trying to go cross court to Langhorne. Resulted in a steal. It was off of Langhorne's fingertips. Too high for him. And then it led to the breakaway layup by Soriano, who was fouled. It's a 4-point game, but the chance to add one more for Soriano. As Hostos got out and ran. 3:59 to go on the clock in the ball game. Herkimer in some trouble here. Number 3 seed and the number 4 team in the nation in Division III NJCAA Junior College Basketball. Hostos has led for most of the second half. Game's been tied twice. And in fact, Herkimer had a lead at 1 point. It's been a back and forth affair for most of the second, but Herkimer with the lead, or rather Hostos with the lead for most of the time. The underdogs, they led by 6 at the half. The foul situation right now, that could be a major factor down the stretch. Hostos has 9 team fouls, so one more on Herkimer will be shooting a double bonus. Herkimer, meanwhile, in very good shape, just 4 team fouls. Just picked up 1 here. So if it comes down to free throws, Herkimer will be shooting earlier. And Hostos has to watch how aggressive they are on defense, too. Hostos, they've been looking to press really throughout the ball game. Again, one of the top teams in the nation, in fact, second in the nation in steals at just over 14 per game. If they're too aggressive on defense, they'll be sending Herkimer to the line from this point on for 2 shots. But now his play is set to resume. Soriano is at the line for 1 as he looks to complete the old-fashioned 3-point play. Soriano, a 53% free throw shooter, a lefty shot. Hit a big 3 not too long ago, and he completes that 3-point play, the more conventional type, to stretch the lead to 5, 3:55 on a running clock. Hostos on top, 67-62. Here's Johnson. He'll drive, flip it up, wild shot, no good, not even close. Dawson comes away with the board. Cespedes, as Hostos looks to run, puts it up, flips it up, no good in the lane with the right hand. Got a Hostos player down at the other end. That's Dawson. He's hurt, so Herkimer has numbers. Langhorne got the shot to go and the foul. And at the other end, Javon Dawson is still in some discomfort. He still hasn't crossed half court yet, but he's waving off the sub, saying he's okay. In the meantime, Langhorne is at the line. He can cut it to a 2-point game. Langhorne, a 57% free throw shooter. That's the 10th team foul for Hostos. Langhorne rattles that one home, 67-65. Hostos clinging to a 2-point lead, 3:33 on a running clock. Now some pressure from Herkimer. But they'll back off as Soriano crosses the timeline. That's not really part of their game. In the lane, Jackson gets the roll. Nearly rolled out, caught every part of the rim before it dropped. Back to a 4-point game, Hostos on top. Here's Murphy. Picks up his dribble. Now he flips it wildly. Langhorne couldn't save it. Sloppy pass from Murphy. We've seen that quite a bit from Herkimer in this game. Johnson pointing to Murphy as they get back on defense. seeming to indicate that on the near side, he was a better option than going all the way across court to Langhorne. Hostos looking to extend their 4-point lead. Into the corner, an open three, Dawson, and he drills it. 72-65. Largest lead of the second half for either team. Hostos on top, Herkimer on the ropes. That one thrown away, another turnover. Herkimer looking a little bit unraveled here, a little bit rattled. Johnson threw that one away, and now a foul as Langhorne was trying to aggressively play Soriano up the court. Herkimer looking visibly frustrated at this point, and a timeout taken. Timeout taken by head coach Matt Lee, a former Herkimer player, and he can't be too happy right now. His third-ranked, or third-seeded, fourth-ranked nationally, Herkimer Generals are on the ropes against the underdog Hostos Community College Caymans, down 7 with 2:32 to play in this opening round matchup in the NJCAA National Championship Tournament. Ricky Sobrano here with you on the Turbo Sports Network as we head down the stretch in the opening game of the NJCAA National Championship Tournament, and it's proven to be a good one so far. Should be a fun tournament if this game is any indication. Hostos on top of the Herkimer College Generals, 72-65, and if you've been listening so far, you know that this would be a bit of an upset. Hostos not expected to win this game. They weren't expected to even be here, really. They needed to go on a run in their regional tournament just to qualify, which they weren't expected to do to begin with. There's no at-large bids in this tournament. You have to win your regional or district tournament to get here, but Hostos was not expected to do that. Just 19 wins on the year. But they got hot at the right time, and it looks like they're staying hot as they're gunning for their fourth win in a row, up 7 over Herkimer, and Herkimer appearing visibly frustrated on the last couple of possessions. Let's see if Hostos can close it out. It's their ball out of the timeout. Here's Dawson. Herkimer looking to pressure as much as possible and nearly forced a turnover. Soriano saves it. It was knocked out of Jackson's hands, and Soriano finishes in traffic. What a play by Soriano. Has 8 points in the last couple of minutes, all big buckets. Now a 9-point game. Tried the lob for Langhorne. It was way behind him, though. Did Woodard. Herkimer looking frustrated. So they've turned the ball over on each of their last 3 possessions. And now a foul on Langhorne. Probably a little bit too early to start fouling. 1:52 on the clock, a 9-point game, and only 5 team fouls for Herkimer. So that might be why Langhorne tried the foul there, because they still have a few before Hostos will even be shooting. Here's Soriano in his own backcourt. Being checked aggressively by Tarver, and Tarver fouled him. 6-team foul for Herkimer. 1 more, and Hostos will shoot. So it appears at this point Herkimer wants to make this a free throw battle. 9-point spread, Hostos on top. Cespedes has it in the backcourt. Looks like Johnson was trying to get the foul, but they didn't give it to him, and now they'll foul Jackson. Will Woodard on the far side. That's actually a better option. Cespedes is Hostos' best free throw shooter at 80%. Jackson, no slouch himself, though, at 67%. He'll be shooting a 1-and-1. Now Langhorne will check back in for Murphy. Looks like Herkimer will play a little defense to offense here. So Hostos, if they can hit their free throws, it looks like they'll get out of this one with a win. And that's been no easy task this year. They're only a shade over 61% as a team. And right on cue, Jackson misses that one. Rebound for Herkimer. Here's Johnson. 9-point game, and he threw it away. Another miscommunication. Hostos has numbers. Cespedes was fouled. Back-to-back-to-back-to-back turnovers from Herkimer. That's 4 in a row on their last 4 possessions as they are coming undone here in the closing minutes of this game. Not on the same page. Hostos' pressure has been bothering them all game, and it's really gotten to them down the stretch of this game as they've tried to open it up to run a bit more, and it hasn't worked. That's really not their game. Cespedes at the line for 2, and he hits the first. Now a 10-point game. Largest lead of the ball game for either team, as Hostos appears to be on the verge of closing this one out. Cespedes, an 80% free throw shooter. Averages 19.9 points per game on the season, and he hits his second, too. 76-65, an 11-point game. Herkimer needs a miracle at this point, and they won't get it. Langhorne is stripped in traffic. Cespedes to the hoop, and he lays it in. That'll just about seal it. Now a 13-point game, 1:15 to go in the half. Driving the lane and losing the ball is Tarver. Up ahead, another breakaway at Soriano. He leaves it for Cespedes, and he lays it home. 80-65, and Hostos knows they have it now. Another timeout taken by Herkimer and Matt Lee as Hostos on the verge of knocking out the number 3 seed Herkimer Generals, the number 4 team in the nation. 80-65, 1:05 to go in the ball game. Hostos, if they close this one out, and it certainly appears they will, earn their 20th win of the season. This will be their 4th win in a row. So you want to talk about getting hot at the right time. It appears that's just what the Hostos Generals are doing. 14 losses on the season. It's one of the highest totals in this tournament. But it appears that they will be marching on into the second round as they're on the verge of knocking off the heavily favored Herkimer Generals, up 15 with just 1:05 to play. Herkimer, the story for them has been turnovers, especially down the stretch. They've melted down, turning it over on their last 4, actually now I think it's 5 possessions, just have not been able to execute. Hostos, one of the top teams in forcing turnovers in the nation. And I said earlier that it would be a battle of styles. Herkimer wants to play a deliberate style. Hostos wants to push the pace and force turnovers, and whichever team force their style on the other or impose their will on the other would probably win. And it's been Hostos so far. Looks like Herkimer is emptying their bench, getting the subs in. I see number 14, Eli Huggins, in the game. He's missing a 3. Was Brandon Thompson, number 15, as Herkimer has essentially waved the white flag and put in their subs, but a timeout taken here by Hostos and Marquis Poole anyway. He'll probably look to get his subs in too, as he sees that Herkimer has. Herkimer came out of the last timeout with Kanan McCarthy, who's played sparingly so far. Eli Huggins, who hadn't played at all, number 14, and number 15, Brandon Thompson, who hadn't played at all before either. So it seems like Matt Lee has essentially conceded that this one is over, and it pretty much is a 15-point game, 47.2 to go in this opening game of the NJCAA Men's Division III National Championship here in Loch Pendrake, New York, inside the Paul Jerry Fieldhouse on the campus of SUNY Sullivan. Hostos out of the timeout. They'll empty their bench, too. Dawn Smith in the game. Matthew Cabrera, number 4, a diminutive 5'7" guard out of the Dominican Republic in the game, too. He has the ball. So both teams emptying their bench as this one is all but over. 40 seconds on a running clock, 80-65 game. Hostos will upset Herkimer as Cabrera is fouled and hits the deck pretty hard. We'll go to the line for 2. Cabrera doesn't play often, but he's been effective in the past. Had 17 versus Dutchess Community College on December 9th. That's a story with a lot of Hostos' players. They don't all always get playing time. They like to really rotate only 8, maybe 9 guys, but when the subs get in, they generally do quite well. Cabrera is second. is good. It's 1 for 2 on that trip. Now an 81-65 game. About a half a second difference between shot clock and game clock. 30 on the game clock. Here's a 3, 2 short from one of the Herkimer subs. That's Michael Santillo. Hostos with the board. It's Don Smith with the ball, and they don't have to shoot here. 20 on the clock. They can just run it out. Here's Cabrera. 16-point game. Tyrone Cogjo with the ball right now. His first action of the ball game, and he will be the man who gets the dribble out the clock. 2 on the clock, 1 and none. That is it. The Hostos Caymans upset the Herkimer College Generals in this opening game matchup of the NJCAA Men's Division III National Championships. Didn't take long to find an upset. Certainly did not. Game 1, we already have a pretty substantial one, as Hostos is marching on by a final tally of 81-65. We'll be back with Game 2 of the day in just a little bit, scheduled for about a 2 o'clock start. We'll see if we hold that. Actually, they have 50 on the clock right now. So we'll be back in about 50 minutes with Game 2 of the day, Game 2 of 4, just a little bit. Until then, I've been Ricky Sobrano for Turbo Sports.